Hey guys, this is Dustin with Media Glitch. This go around we are taking a look at the tactical strategy game Prodigy Tactics. First and foremost, I want to thank Hanakai Studios for sending us multiple codes for this game, and I personally apologize for the review being so late. There's some humor that goes along with why this review is late, and I'll get into a little bit of that, but the most important thing is for us to give a good representation of what this game is, and do it justice with an honest review. The game originally started out as a Kickstarter project with some very high ambitions. Some of the goals set forth by the team have been met, while some have not. However, the game which I have played, I am going to give a thorough review of the graphics, gameplay, sound, and story presented within. Joel knows that one of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics. Therefore, I might be the best to break into this game and give it an in-depth review. As I mentioned earlier, this was a Kickstarter game going back to 2014. The original concept was to take tabletop miniature strategy games and combine them with a video game interface, where your miniatures will come to life. Kind of like taking a game like Warhammer 40k, tactical combat games like Fire Emblem, and bridging the gap with the toys-to-life concept like Skylanders and Amiibos. While the miniatures-to-life side of the project has been suspended for the time being, and much to the disdain of many of the original backers, the video game side of the project did move forward, eventually being released to early access November of 2017, and coming out of early access as of late 2018. The first thing that comes to attention with this game is the graphics. Graphically, the game is gorgeous. In fact, that's part of the reason why this review was delayed. There may be some small issues with graphical optimization, but in reality it was time for me to upgrade my video card so that my rig would have enough oomph to both play and be able to record adequate footage at the same time. As you can see, the character and monster designs are amazingly detailed and original. The animations are smooth and eye-catching, and though these same animations will be used over and over again, there are features in place to fast-forward them or cut them out so you can spend more time with the game. The environments are also beautiful, and fortunately they are varied as well. Though with the quality of the models and animations, I would have loved to have seen more figures present in the backgrounds, maybe along the lines of what you'd see in a fighting game. Critters, other characters, monsters in the background, just to give it a little more flavor. The sound quality also fits the game, having a very epic fantasy-sounding score and other sounds meshing well to the action environments of the game. Now, here's a little bit of a sample to give you a feel. For the time being, the game is a little limited on story, but there are multiple characters and each one gets their fair share of lore with promises of more story to come. While it's great to have potential for limitless story and characters, I wish there was an all-encompassing story to really pull you in. along the lines of Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics or Ogre, Fire Emblem, or Shining Force. There are different modes you can play to unlock more characters and add more variants to the story, but unfortunately the story that is currently present isn't on par with what I would be looking for in a tactical strategy game. With the majority of the story only being text-based with minimal character interaction, limited voice acting, just grunts and exclamations instead of dialogue, it's a little limited at what I'm looking for. While there's limited focus on the story at this time, it doesn't take much to see that the majority of the design is in the gameplay itself. The combat is deep and rich with systemic depth, and it's the type of depth that can attract fans of any kind of tactical or strategy-styled game to this game. The flat grids are small and simple, with one 4x3 side for your units and one 4x3 for your opponents. There's no terrain bonuses, per se, or strategy related to the battlefield itself, so don't expect varied or complex maps like other tactical RPGs. Here the grids just promote frontline, midline, and rearline unit positioning to control the flow of damage to your units. Since the terrain itself does not impact the gameplay, the majority of the tactics and strategy is centered around a harmony and dissonance-based system. At the bottom of the screen, you will see a blue harmony button and a red dissonance button for the different types of attacks and abilities that you can use. The type you choose will convert tiles to harmony or dissonance, and these tiles will limit the types of moves you can use moving forward. For example, if your unit is positioned on a red dissonance tile, they will be unable to then use a harmony type attack or skill. However, using a dissonance attack or skill, which tend to be stronger than that of a blue harmony ability, will create more dissonance tiles along the battlefield. Beware, however, if there are too many dissonance tiles on the board between both your side and your opponent's, they all explode and cause area of effect damage to all units nearby. To provide even more depth to the gameplay, there are also elemental types which are tied to each character. These are shown by the symbols along the bottom of the screen below the dissonance and harmony buttons. These different elements can be used to synergize combo moves with allies that share the same elemental advantages. These combination moves can group heal, chain attack with substantial damage, or create other opportunities of advantage. In reality, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the depth of gameplay. With the constant release of new content and characters, there is added potential for new elements, new movesets, new combinations, and great potential for developing new and creative ways to strategically defeat your foes. I feel Prodigy Tactics shows amazing potential, and while I wish there was more depth to the story, and was personally hoping for something more along the lines of Final Fantasy Tactics, I can't wait to see how they develop this game and the world over time. I also can't wait to see what else they will come out with in the future now that they have a solid title under their belt. The game might be a bit of a stretch for the asking price of $20 on Steam, unless you're a huge fan of the genre, if you want to see a clinic on great-looking fantasy graphics and combat animations, or if you want to support a fledgling studio with a lot of potential. However, it's definitely worth picking up for a sale at $10-15, even though it's flat with Kickstarter shortcomings and other small issues I've already mentioned. I feel Prodigy Tactics clearly shows the ambitions of the company, and definitely gives a glimpse of what the developers are capable of in the future. What kind of games would you like to see Hanakai Studios make next? Where do their strengths and potential lie, and where should they focus on in the future? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in to Media you've enjoyed this review. Please remember to subscribe and click the bell so you get notifications of our content as they're released.